Our keynote address will be on driving a digital manufacturing transformation. And for this, may I now please invite on the dais our keynote speaker, V.V. Rajasekhar, Senior Vice President, ITC Infotech India Limited, Chief Information Officer of ITC Group. And while he takes his place at the dais, let me allow him to introduce you. V.V. Rajasekhar, as lovingly called Raja, had joined ITC in 1989 from the IIM campus and has been with us ever since. During his 26 years career in ITC, he has held many leadership positions in the IT organization, including Divisional CIO of Tobacco and Agribusiness Divisions. As Divisional CIO of Agribusiness Division, Raja conceptualized the technical architecture of the eChoppal project and implemented it in 5,000 locations across 4 states in India. eChoppal is today recognized as the largest integrated rural digital initiative in the country. In 2008, Raja moved into ITC Infotech with P&L responsibility of 3 business verticals: consumer goods, retail, and manufacturing. He incubated and scaled up the business consulting group through thought leadership in areas such as supply chain, enterprise performance, and big data analytics. He envisioned the need for more comprehensive solutions in sustainability and supply chain performance management and provided leadership for development of co-innovative solutions with SAP. Raja took over as the Group CIO of ITC Limited in January 2015 and is responsible for providing strategic IT leadership to the ITC Group. He is focused on enhancing IT's contribution to business value and is creating new business capabilities for the group through innovative application of information technology solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome with a round of applause Mr. V.V. Rajasekhar on the dais, please. Thank you so much.
Yes, just 2 minutes.
The digital technology is going to be connected here to lots of digital screens. So let me set the context in the interest of time, and then once we have my presentation up, then we can go through that. First of all, thank you INFOCOM for having me here. It's always wonderful to be here and share whatever the insights and experiences that we have with you. Today's topic is about the digital manufacturing and the transformation. I think it's an extremely very, very important and very relevant subject, especially in the context that we are in. You must have been hearing since yesterday a lot of speakers coming here and talking about the way the technology is changing the world, right? And another interesting aspect to that is that I don't know how many of you would have read an article about the software is eating the world. This was written quite a while back, and the whole argument in that article was about how the hardware, the physical products are being taken over by very intangible software. But of late what is happening is another revolution, which is about how the digital is eating the software. Because in the software that especially the CIOs here or those who manage the IT functions in their businesses would be aware of is about the software that we know, we are aware of, is completely getting changed by digital. And especially what in the digital that is changing the software is all about the AI aspect, the analytics aspects, the technologies that are being built around the machine learning, the digital learning, the deep learning, the aspects of the, the digital is completely transforming the software. And obviously, such a change cannot be standalone, right? I mean, it will have implications on what we do in the business. And so will be implications in terms of every aspect of the business, the way we engage consumers, the way we design products, the way we manufacture products, the way we distribute, and also the people who work there and the consumers. So therefore, the change that is coming in is very, very pervasive. It's very deep, and it's going to have a very profound impact. So with that, let me launch into, provided this presentation comes on board onto the screen. Can anyone help in connecting this to the screen? So we have the slide on the screen. So driving the digital manufacturing and transformation, I mean, if you look at that kind of a picture, actually it communicates a lot of things. So every product is getting digitized, right? And it's going to be delivered in unimaginable ways from whatever we have been aware of in the past. So what's the new world going to look like? Is that, we have always been talking about the new normals. That is, the world has changed, and it's going to be like a new world. And the buzz is that it's actually a new normal. So the pace of change in the technology is so rapid today. It's very difficult to even to say that this is it, and then I will do something, for this, because the line is getting pushed, constantly because of this technology. So one of the things I want to call out is that the consumerization of technology. I think, to my mind, this is one of the fundamental driver in the kind of pace of change that we are seeing in this, around us, in the businesses, in the workplaces, also in our lives. If you look at, each one of us, obviously we'll be having at least more than one device on ourselves, right? It's a smartphone plus a wearable, a home automation, etc., etc. So what it is doing is that it is actually democratizing the way the technology is being used. If you look at the old ways, the technology was very limited to those who have a capital or those who have access to the technology. It's no longer true. Today, somebody with a smartphone can ask for and demand a very personalized product and services which were not available before, right? So this is fundamentally transforming the way businesses are going to respond. I'll amplify on some of these points, a little later on. The second one is, if you see, very interesting aspect, which is especially for India. I mean, you see the graphic. It's a projection for about next 30 years. In the year 2050, this is the contrast between China and India. As the India population is increasing, it's expected to reach about 1.6 billion, and whereas China will be actually shrinking. What is interesting to note is that India is going to remain very, very young, extremely young. And with a young nation, young people who are willing to try new, are going to demand new, are bold enough to try, experiment, constantly change and seek new stuff, they're going to bring about fundamental changes in the way the businesses are going to operate, and their expectations are going to be met with the different products and services. And finally, we all familiar with this. The economy has shifted. It's not just a service. We all know that in any GDP, the services sector had a lion's share. But what I'm talking about here is that is the economy of as a service. Everything is available on a service, that it's on demand, and we hear this word called Uberization of the service. Like earlier, just to give an example, if you wanted to go someplace, right? If you have a car, you would probably reach out to take the car keys, right? Or if you don't have a car, probably you'll reach out to a purse or a wallet so that you go and catch a bus or a train or whatever the mode of transport. Today, if you want to go somewhere, you'll reach out to your phone. So that's a shift which happened already, right? Everyone's life. So the fundamental shift is that So the time has come to actually ask a question. Everyone has to, ask this question that, what business am I in? Are we in, if you're a tire manufacturer, are you in the business of making tires? Or are you in the business of providing mileage to your consumers? So you stop selling tires and start selling miles. If you are in an air conditioning company who makes air conditioners, are you making air conditioners? Or are you providing a cool or comfortable environment for whoever is going to be in the buildings and residences which are going to be occupied where your equipment and technology work? So you start selling by the cooling capacity that you provide in the halls, right? So, it's a very fundamental shift. So this is being imposed by and enforced by the way the technologies are coming in. And you look at the adoption, removing a gear here. It's not that digital technologies are not being adopted. There are industry sectors like banking, telecom, media, they're well ahead. And we put a graphic here. This has been taken from Gartner. More than 80% businesses in almost each sector have already started this journey. So if you have not started, it's time to rethink your strategy, rethink your plans, and seriously consider about how you're going to compete in this marketplace. And when you look at manufacturing firms, more than 15% are already looking at these digital technologies to change the way they compete in the market. So what are the forces shaping the future of manufacturing? Sorry, I touched something, I think. Right? The first one I want to call out is the smart and connected products. The products are no longer just mechanical products anymore, or with some electronic and control components in it. So these are going to be very smart connected products, which essentially the difference being that these are mechanical plus electronic plus software plus connectivity plus intelligence to operate on their own. And these are going to change the way the product is going to be used by the consumers and experienced. And the second one is the new word which is being coined called servitization. Means that products are no longer just products. Products are bundled with services, and together they deliver those experiences which consumers are looking for. Like in the example of air conditioning. So you'll have an air conditioner in a hall or something like a place like this, and that air conditioning equipment comes with various sensors to not only measure the amount of cooling that is provided in a premises like this, so that they can do the billing, but also it'll have enough sensors so they can actually monitor on a real-time basis how that equipment is functioning, and if it has a problem, or if it's going to have a problem, the manufacturer can get a sense of that and then proactively and predictively send people to service that and keep it in a running condition. So the technology of the product or the anatomy of the product is going to fundamentally get altered with the smart and connected products coming in and with services getting bundled in. So what's making this possible? Let me get into some of the basic building blocks that are behind these forces that are reshaping the way the competition is going to happen and the way the companies are going to work. One of the things is that, I'm sorry, I think it's too tiny, but let me call it here. I don't know whether you can read this. Can we get this in the center screen? No, okay. So let me read out for you. I think the first step is, automation. The automation is about the robotics are going to be used increasingly. We all know that robotics are used heavily in automobile, factories and plants. The purpose of using robotics is that a very high throughput, high quality, extremely precision manufacturing can be enabled through this technology. simulation. Anybody heard the term digital twins? These are going to be a reality. Digital twins are technology is essentially that there is a virtual model of the physical model that will be available on the shop floor. So assume that there is a machine. There is a digital twin for that machine. And people will not operate on the physical machine. They will operate the digital twin, the virtual, the machine model. And from there they can make out, they can monitor, they can see how much of the throughput is coming through, how many products are being produced, what is the quality. And if there is a breakdown, they can actually change the virtual twin, a virtual model to make the changes in the physical model. What it gives is that it gives the productivity. So one operator or few people can manage the virtual mock-up of an entire plant and a layout. System integration, it's a platform, it's connecting the various machinery and processes on the shop floor. Industrial internet, I mean, this is something which is again been around for about 4 or 5 years, but it's going to create that fabric in which various plant machinery facilities can be brought together and can work together like a team. So it's like machine to machine communication, the machine to machine collaboration enabled through this industrial internet working on the shop floor. An extremely important other point is the security aspect. Not to forget that as we increasingly get interdependent on and linked with so much of technology and many of the plant facilities getting or operating on an automated manner, security is going to be a very, very critical area that needs to be focused on and ensure that it is robust. You must have heard many news stories that how some of the hackers could reach out to the facilities like nuclear power plants and or a very large equipment like boilers and in big factories. And when these get compromised, you can imagine that they not only disrupt the operations, but have an impact on the safety of people, safety of the employees. So it's extremely critical that when you're planning out the digital manufacturing, care is taken for the security aspects involved around the operational technology. Cloud computing, I mean, this you're familiar, I don't want to belabor this point. Additive manufacturing, been around for some time, has a great potential as more and more advances happen in this technology, and from a large 3D printers, which were there about 4 or 5 years back, today we see miniaturization and ability to manufacture with variety of substrates and materials. So it's going to provide, again, a huge opportunity for businesses. Just imagine that in an automobile, if you're an automobile manufacturer, you can provide the flexibility to your customers to even print some of the simple spare parts, or garages to print some simple spare parts. These need not have to be manufactured centrally, shipped, manage the logistics. It'll have a tremendous impact in terms of the cost as well as the availability and the way to compete, in the industry space. AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, it's a mixed reality technology. And this is going to be a big player in the shop floor. Today, it is still in the periphery. People are trying to figure out. Travel and entertainment space has deployed especially hospitality space, has used the AR, VR very well. But it's going to come into shop floor for purposes like training your workforce, making them ready to work with sophisticated technologies, be digital ready. Those are the areas where AR, VR is going to be deployed. And finally, the data and analytics. I mean, it's going to be a huge game changer for those who want to redesign their manufacturing. Because manufacturing, again, always depended on and focused on improving the process quality, efficiencies, overall equipment efficiencies, utilization in the shop floor. Data is going to be a new resource in the hands of those who are responsible for the new manufacturing to discover insights that are there in the processes and able to use them to create better margins for them and better efficiencies. I got this slide to demonstrate that again, that what I've been talking about is not theory. There are companies which have deployed these technologies and deriving significant benefits. And they're being called as smart factories. Some people call them as brilliant factories, right? I mean, to contrast between the old and the new. Whether a smart factory or brilliant factory, they're able to deliver in some places, like I'll just read out for you, on-time delivery, they're able to deliver 5 times than what they were doing before. Or quality goes up by about, again, 5 times. Overall productivity going up about 6 times. And these have been now being adopted in sectors like aerospace, defense. Automotive is always a leader and pioneer in adopting new technologies. Consumer goods. You can see those in the bottom track actually are across the sectors. Industrial manufacturing, automotive are ahead marginally, but rest are all following up. So for some of the CIOs present here, the question is, are you ready? So how do you go about preparing your organization to adopt a significant change like this? It's important that CIOs have to become more like a change leaders to first of all bring awareness within the organization on the need for a change and then build a capacity to make that change. And the path to that is prepare a roadmap and develop, very importantly, skills required so that the path can be navigated and journey can be taken. And finally, what is important is to jump in and then try. And that's the only way that some of these technologies can be made to work, and the benefits of it can be shown to the organization as well as, and nothing like actually reaching out to the consumer, and when the consumers start adopting the changes that you have made your business case. So with that, I would like to conclude here. Thank you very much for a patient hearing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajasekhar. At this point of time, can I, sir, please request you to stay back for a while? And may I now request our Managing Director and CEO of ABP Private Limited and Chairperson of INFOCOM, D.D. Purkasa, to kindly step up on the dais and present the memento to our respected speaker. Thank you, gentlemen.